The Florida government has passed a bill that bans classroom instruction about gender identity or sexual orientation. The argument behind it is to allow parents to work through these issues directly with their kids rather than letting them unfold at school where apparently something might go wrong. If you could vote directly on this policy that bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity, would you vote for it or against it? If you're new to my content, One Direct Democracy is a movement for upgrading the global democratic system by taking the power away from politicians and putting it in the hands of the people by using direct democracy. It'll also eliminate left and right-wing politics. I've created the technology and a specific plan for how to make it work. If you want more information, check out the links in the description. For each episode, I'll pick an important issue, outline the problem, talk about the solutions, and you can decide how you would vote. In this video, we'll be talking about whether schools should be banned from providing classroom instruction about gender identity and sexual orientation. Okay, if you're just looking for another talking head that isn't interested in actually doing anything, you're in the wrong place. If you want to be part of the solution, let's get into it.
Florida's controversial legislation passing, now sent to the governor there tonight. It's called the Parental Rights in Education Bill. Critics call it the Don't Say Gay Bill. What it would prevent teachers from saying or doing, and some asking tonight, if this is signed, what about isolated or bullied children? Who will they be able to turn to at school? Here's Victor Akendo in Florida tonight.
Tonight, Florida's controversial legislation, dubbed by critics as the Don't Say Gay Bill and gaining national attention, has been sent to Governor Ron DeSantis to sign, the governor already signaling he supports it. The state Senate passing the bill 22-17 today, despite days of protests from the LGBTQ community and thousands of students. Officially called the Parental Rights in Education Bill, the measure bans lessons regarding sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3rd, and any instruction that is not age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate according to state standards. Those standards, however, not yet in place for several grades.
Okay, so what does this bill actually propose to do? According to this article from NPR, the bill, which some opponents have called Don't Say Gay, was signed by DeSantis on Monday. It reads, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. Okay, why do the people behind this bill think it's a good idea? Supporters of the legislation say it's meant to allow parents to determine when and in what way to introduce LGBTQ topics to their children. It also gives an option to sue a school district if the policy is violated. Okay, what does Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis have to say about it? During a press conference ahead of signing the law, DeSantis said teaching kindergarten-age kids that they can be whatever they want to be was inappropriate for children. He said that it's something that's not appropriate for any place, but especially not in Florida. Okay, where did the Don't Say Gay expression come from? The Don't Say Gay moniker comes from critics of the measure who blast this idea and insist that this policy will hurt LGBTQ children. DeSantis and other supporters gathered for the bill signing call this messaging sloganeering and referred to efforts to educate students about LGBTQ issues as part of woke gender ideology. So what does the research tell us about how people are treated based on their gender? Studies have shown that LGBTQ youth already face higher health and suicide risks. When those kids are given access to spaces that affirm their gender identity, they report lower rates of suicide attempts, according to the Trevor Project. So this research was done by the Trevor Group. Let's hear what they had to say about it. The Trevor Project condemned the signing of the bill, saying that the bill erases LGBTQ identity, history, and culture, as well as LGBTQ students themselves. The group also critiqued the policy's parental notification requirements. The law requires parents to be the first notified of any health or support services offered to their kids in school and allows them the chance to deny those services on behalf of their children. Okay, so it looks like the parental notification requirements might have some unintended consequences. The Trevor Project says these provisions appear to undermine LGBTQ support in schools and include vague parental notification requirements which could effectively require teachers to out LGBTQ students to their legal guardians without their consent, regardless of whether they are supportive. Now, it's interesting to see that Disney has decided to take a proactive stance against this bill. Leading up to the bill's signing, critics, which include the Walt Disney Company, lambasted Florida lawmakers for the legislation. On Monday, a spokesman said in a statement that the company hopes the law is repealed or struck down in court. Florida's HB 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, should never have passed and should never have been signed into law, the statement read. Our goal as a company is for this law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down in the courts, and we remain committed to supporting the national and state organizations working to achieve that. Okay, this is my personal opinion on this issue. The key assumption here is whether you are born the way you are or whether you can be convinced to be something that is different from what you are. We know that people that knew they were gay and tried to suppress it couldn't suppress it. The Florida government has obviously decided to take the view that people can be convinced to be something that they're not, and therefore they want to prevent this conversation from happening. I don't see any issue with this classroom instruction. The much bigger issue is what's actually being said in the classroom instruction, and whether that is having a positive impact on the kids and society generally. I've created a listing on the One Direct Democracy platform so that we can develop ideas about what should kids be taught about sexual orientation and gender identity in school and when. You can add your own ideas or vote and comment on ideas from other people. You can also create your own listings for people to vote on. It's a simple way to get used to using the One Direct Democracy system. The link's in the description. So that's a summary of the key issues. If you could vote directly on this bill that bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity, would you vote for it or against it? Let me know in the comments. The reality is that we've reached a point in time in our evolution where representative democracy no longer serves the will of the people. That's why I created One Direct Democracy. It's a movement for upgrading the global democratic system by taking power away from politicians and putting it in the hands of the people with direct democracy. I've created the technology, a framework for direct democracy, and a plan for how to make it happen. And we don't have to convince any politicians or powerful people to do anything to make it happen. We have the power to do it on our own. We just have to decide to do it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, or you want more information about me or One Direct Democracy, check out the other videos on my channel. All the links in the description. Direct democracy is the purest form of democracy. Representative democracy is an outdated, blunt instrument.